Howdy y'all and welcome back. New year, new gear, and today we're taking a look at the GBRS Group version 3 inner belt. So if you are like me and you got a GBRS Group belt all set up with the version 2 inner belt, which was this guy, you're gonna want to go ahead and pony up the, with shipping and tax, this came to $45 to my door, and it's well worth it. Look, you've already spent a whole buttload of money on a gun belt. Get it dialed in, right? So this is the original version 2, and this is the new one. Right? So if you're not familiar, the way GBRS Group does their gun belt is they put the loop, the soft Velcro, facing into your body, right? So that's on the gun belt, which means that the inner belt that runs through your belt loops on your pants is going to have the sharp, pokey Velcro facing outward. So the way they rectified that in their version 2 was they gave you this sheath. And so you would run this guy through your pants and then just apply the sheath guy. Oh, I've got it backwards. Right? Apply the outer sheath around, right? And this would just go around your belt loops, and it would keep the annoying pokey Velcro from catching on your clothes or scraping on your arm or whatever. And it worked. It wasn't an entirely bad system. It definitely, kept the pokey Velcro from being pokey. My problem with it is I would set myself all up and I would wear this to the range, and then I would get to the range or training, take this off. It would almost always end up getting tossed in my truck. Somehow it never landed in the gun belt. I would peel it off at the door of my truck, toss it on the floor. Then I wear this all day. I've got the gun belt on around it, right? I'm training. At the end of the day, I take this off. I've still got this on. I would usually not put this back on because I'm tired and I don't even care. And then I wear this into the house at the end of the day, and this would end up in my house somewhere, and this would be out in my truck somewhere. And then when I went to start the whole thing over again, I would go look for it, and I'm like, damn, where did I put the thing? And I'd look out in the garage, and it wasn't there because it was in my truck. It was just a little weird. Maybe if you're got your shit together more than I do, it wouldn't be a problem. But for me, that seemed to always be the case, as they would be in different locations. This, I think, goes a long way towards solving that. And mostly it's just, right? So on a sizing note, I am a 34-inch waist measured. I wear a size 32 pants pretty consistently. I went with the medium, which is giving me roughly something like about that. I don't know, 4.5, 5 inches of overlap. That is the medium. If I wanted to really, really use this as an EDC belt, I would have needed to go with the large. So how have they rectified the whole pokey Velcro on the outside thing with their version 3? Well, you just wrap it around like that. And now you have the nylon on the outside. And I have worn this as a regular belt for a couple of days in a row just to test it out and see how it works. And it works great. I wasn't carrying for those couple of days. I was kicking around town, mostly around the house. So again, I would have needed to upsize. I could probably make a 43X work with this, but it would probably only give me 2.5 inches of overlap or something, and that would buy me enough real estate in there to get away with that. And that would hold. I don't think that would be a problem coming loose. But they give you a whole lot of extra fuzzy Velcro on this outside. The large would have made more sense for me. But that isn't really what I got this for. I have leather belts and Blue Alpha Gear nylon EDC belts, and so it really wasn't what I was looking for in this. As far as the pokey Velcro being inside while you're wearing it as a regular belt, I had no issues with discomfort because generally, right, you've got that like little bit of cushion, 1/4 inch or maybe a 1/2 inch, depending on what kind of pants you're wearing. So your pants come up just high enough. I did not have any, and I'm kind of a little bit love-handly. Didn't have any discomfort issues. It worked pretty. It was kind of neat actually because it has no, like even the Blue Alpha has a little buckle deal, and you run it through and then back over. And this, you just kind of put it on and it goes like, it's kind of neat. Anyway, let's take it over to the table and get a closer look. All right, so looking at them up close from top down, you can see the newer belt is just quite a bit thicker, more rigid, right? You've got very good stitching. It's not overly done, but it does appear to be quite adequate. Try to get some light on it, get it to focus there. And when it's spun around the other way, so there's that overlap, and you've got a pretty healthy amount of the loop soft Velcro, right? So now it is inside out, as if I were heading to the range, not ready to deploy my gun belt yet. So again, just another reminder on that size deal. I'm a 32 jeans, 32 in most pants. I really would have wanted to go with the large, not the medium, if I planned on carrying inside the waistband while wearing it in this configuration. And then it would give me lots and lots of overlap, right? So if I had it to do over again, I would probably go ahead and just order that large. But it's not a big deal because that's not really a concern for me. And if I really had to, with about that much overlap, I could go ahead and cram like a Glock 43X in there and it wouldn't be too bad. All right, so my biggest pick on the version 2 system was the plastic buckle. This thing just, it would find my gut, and I don't have a whole lot of gut, but no matter where I would place it on my waistline, and then, right, so you're running it through there, and then you're doubling this back over, and it would just find a way to be kind of annoying and pokey. Because of course I've got my gun belt on around this, and then everything's cinched in pretty good and tight, and this would just kind of find me. Not the end of the world, not that big of a deal, but it really makes this a much better design. And then the obvious, right, like this guy needs some Viagra or something, right? Like it's just, it was really thin. It worked, you know, because your belt loops are holding it in place, and then the kind of concentric force of the gun belt comes around and locks everything in on your body. So it did work. This is just better, right? Just better. All right, so here is a look at a loaded up belt. I've got the inner belt in here, and we've got 2 loaded Glock 19 mags, loaded 30 rounds in an AR mag, IFAK, Glock 19 not loaded, but you get the idea, right? It's not super crazy rigid, but it is a big improvement over the version 2 setup. You want a gun belt to have some give in it so that when you are moving, running and gunning and kneeling, and you want your hip bones, those are semi-movable joints, and you want them to be able to move a little bit and not be so constricted that at the end of the day you're having back problems or hip problems. If you've ever worn a really cheap, shitty, if you're old enough to like have done an Uncle Mike's type setup to a training, you know what I'm talking about. It sucks. So to me, this is about the right amount of rigidity that you're going to want. So huge improvement. I went with the black color just to kind of so I can see the difference. Also comes in coyote. What else? So, do you need to spend this kind of money on a gun belt? No. And on that note, if you're not following Nylon Theory on the Instas, go check them out, or here on the YouTubes or the Facebooks or whatever. Check out the work Matt is doing or has done over the past. He has got it dialed in. He's looked at all kinds of gear. He's a Marine reservist, and so he gets to take stuff out in the field and actually let jarheads beat on it and stuff. Gets a lot of good feedback from active duty people as well. So check out the work he's doing. This is just the direction I went. I wanted to kind of go bougie and splurge a little. So it's what I did. But again, for the extra $45, well worth it if you have the version 2 set up. And if you want to use that inner belt as more like an EDC belt for appendix carry, upsized one. All right, so that's all I got for this one, y'all. Until next time, be easy.